are into July now. So on the first of each month, I bring you a pre-recorded video. This is my monthly Christmas card inspiration. I create two fairly simple duplicatable cards to give you a little bit of inspiration if you want to create your Christmas cards throughout the year rather than, what I tend to do is like wait until it's too late and then you really don't get the time. Hold on. Okay, my screen, I got my laptop off to the side and it got a little fuzzy, so we're all good. So for this month, I pulled out this standalone stamp set. This is called Caroling Mice. This is, am I, uh, hi, Tracy, am I actually live where everybody can see me? Oh my gosh. Okay, I guess I might as well leave it then because I was pre-recording my monthly Christmas card inspiration for tomorrow. Okay, but I'll just let it be and let's just roll with it. So, hey Tracy. I thought I put it on unlisted. I guess it must have changed it on me. Okay, so you're here. Welcome. I think it's just you and me at the moment, unless someone else realizes that I'm live. But yeah, so yeah, evidently I'm live. Well, either way, I do this live, but I always change it to unlisted, so nobody knows that I'm live. And okay, but it is what it is. So okay, we're just gonna roll with it, and but it's still gonna be considered, excuse me, my monthly Christmas card inspiration. That's typically like pre-recorded. So, like I was mentioning, usually on the first of each month throughout the year, I create two cards that are fairly quick and simple. Now, this one that I'll be doing, both of them are going to be having some coloring done with it. So, that's what makes it a little bit time consuming. But if you're someone who loves to color, then this will be right up your alley. Like I was mentioning, until I realized it was actually live, that this is Caroling Mice. It's a standalone stamp set. This was in the 20, was it I think it was, is it July? It was either July to December or September through December holiday mini catalog. It was in 2022, and I think it was close to being one of the last catalogs in which we offered a host stamp set. This particular year, it was the stamp set, and then there was this big pack of designer series paper that year. So I thought, okay, let me pull it out, and believe it or not, the surprise, surprise, this is the first time that I've actually used this stamp set. So let me bring in what I'm going to be working on. Now, just like I do with all of my videos, I kind of do some stuff ahead of time just to save a little bit of time. And while I'm at it, let me also open up my little document here that's going to tell me what the dimensions are of my pieces. It's fairly simple. For this one, the card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this is a crumb cake. And where am I going? Let me go to the right folder. And then I have a few scraps here. So basic white, and I use the Stylish Shapes dies for this one. It is a set of dies that are still available. And I believe I used, I think it was the second to the largest size. I had die cut out of the white. And then this is basically the same sheet of designer series paper. And this paper is called the Tidings of Christmas paper. So in here we got Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, Misty, Moonlight, Sahara Sand, which has now since retired, Soft Succulent, and at the time it was Whisper White. So Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, those were in colors that have since retired. Kind of hoping at some point those two colors reappear when they do, a color refresh, because to me they're just perfect colors for using for Christmas. So out of the largest die, I die cut this, and then I basically flipped it over, and this is the same size as our white circle. So let's see, let me grab my stamp set. So this one I didn't pre-stamp this, because being that it's a circle, it's fairly easy to kind of line that up in that circle. And so I'm going to pull out, now this stamp says, you can see it does not have any greetings in it, so you can always use any greeting that would kind of fit with the images on here. So let me just open this up really quick. Okay, so we got that. So on here I'm using just one ink color to do my stamping, and that's Early Espresso. And let me get my blocks. Sorry about that. This is what happens every time I go live, and I don't know why my throat just starts to get all scratchy, because the camera's rolling, that's why. So let me, since I'm not here by myself, let me fully open this up. Okay, so I am going to, there's something on my stamp. Okay, so let me move these things out of the way, and I'll fold and burnish my card base. Okay, so then, excuse me, wow. So on this die cut circle, I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this, and I'll stick that right there, and then we'll get our other one. I think Cherry Cobbler and the Evening Evergreen, that they're the perfect Christmas colors to go together. And we'll place that right there. Move that aside. And then I will get my ink. I wonder if anybody else will notice, Tracy, that I'm actually live. I'm probably surprised people like, why is she live? And then I'll stamp that right in the middle. See, what's nice about stamping this on a circle, if it seemed like it was crooked, well, we make it uncrooked just by turning it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let me get these two musical note stamps, and I'm going to stamp a couple of these on my card base. Like so. Just put a couple on there. And now we will color in our mouse. So let me grab, oh, this will work. This is the piece that Andrea used on Saturday, which, by the way, I think Andrea did an awesome job. That was the first time that she had gone you know, had done any live video, and there is one other joining in, but I don't know who. Yeah, I guess we'll never know unless they say something. Well, one, two. Hmm. Well, I wonder if that other would be me because I do have it on my laptop as well. So I don't know. I don't know. If there is, hello, whoever it is, say hi. Typically, this video would be, you know, kind of pre-recorded as an unpublished live. It just seems it's quicker for me to get the video put together and have it scheduled. I think what I may do, well, I'll have to see when I'm done with this video. Do I actually take it and schedule it? But I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when I'm done because I never had this happen to me before. Okay, so I have my light and dark crumb cake and my light and dark cherry cobbler. Now, my dark cherry cobbler, this is an older one. And there is Froggy. You know what, Froggy? You weren't supposed to know that I was on. This is okay. So this is my monthly Christmas card inspiration video that would be typically scheduled for the first of the month at like 5 a.m. my time. And I swear when I find that to do this, it's easier to do it as an unpublished live. You know, I can get through it and I can schedule. And I swear I thought that I put it as unpublished and I'm just going and then all of a sudden Tracy said hi. So evidently it must have reverted or something. I don't know, but I guess I'm live and you guys are joining me. So okay. Yeah, we were just kind of mentioning, you know, Andrea, and, you know, that was the first time that she's done a live, and I mean, she rocked it. But if she ends up watching this, Andrea, I think, are you missing a Wink of Stella? I think this is your Wink of Stella. I noticed it sitting there, and I'm like, I think that one's yours. All right, so we're going to color him in, and we got just a couple of colors here. So the light and dark crumb cake and evening evergreen and cherry cobbler. And then for his little nose and his mouth, I did have, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Light basic black. All right. So cherry cobbler. Now, this one, I gotta see what happens. Okay. I went to use this and the lid was on there so tight that it literally pulled this thing off, and yeah, have to be careful with that because I don't want that to go flying. Okay, so the way I colored these, I just kind of outlined those areas that are going to be in this color with the dark, and then I'll fill it in with the light. There's really no right or wrong way to use these Stampin' blends. All right, and then we got this hat. And, you know, I'm going to wait to color in. I like to let the dark dry first before I put the light on there. So then that way I don't have to do all this blending and keep going back and forth with it. So I'll do his mouth and his nose in the light basic black. And then we'll get our dark crumb cake. And I'm just going to, wherever I want to have some shadow. little bit of his hands. So the only thing is, if I can't change this, after all is said and done, to schedule it for tomorrow, what it will do, it will then add a video onto the count for June. Hello, Marva. Welcome back. Um, yeah, it'll just be included with June, so it'll add an extra video in the count for June. I don't know if you may have got notified or whatever, but yesterday I had, there's two little short videos that were added to my channel. And what those are, this is the dark evening evergreen. So Facebook had decided that they were gonna, I don't know why they're doing this, but it's sometime in July. I don't know, was it like the 6th or the 9th or something, where I think it pertains to maybe business pages. I don't know if it applies to like your personal Facebook page, where if you had a video on there, they're gonna remove it either one of those days. I can't remember exactly. I just know that it's in like early July. So yesterday I went out there. Now there's one video where I show like this project that I made. That video is like 7 years old. And that was the very, very first time that I had done a video. I had just got my Arkin stand. I mean, I didn't even have the setup to do videos. I had a somewhat decent phone, the one that I was using for videos. Was it a few months ago until I got this phone? And yeah, I just explained, just kind of showed a project that I had made. And so I pulled that off there and I put it on here. And then there's another little short video where it's kind of like, a tips and tricks type of video. And that came about in September of 2023. Now, this is the light cherry cobbler. Uh, I was doing this 14-day challenge that Stampin' Up had done with this couple that does, like social media training, for, those doing direct selling. And so that was the first time of doing, going and doing a Facebook Live. And you know what? I was really nervous on doing that. And I literally wrote out a script. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And they didn't say it had to be long. You didn't have to have the camera on you. But I was like, okay, what am I, yeah, what am I going to do? So what you see is the cleaned up version. I have a program where I was able to flip it, because when I went to do that, I was determined, okay, you know what? I got to get it done. I'm not going to have dinner until I'm done with it. And here it's like I practiced before I hit go live, and I kind of prayed that nobody popped on there while I was doing it. And yeah, after the fact, let's see what happened. Yeah, I had a laminated sheet, so you saw my ring light reflecting in it. And then the orientation wasn't right, so you were kind of looking at it sideways. And like I said, I was reading off of a script, which I really didn't need to do. But yeah, I didn't realize the orientation and all that was not right and all that. I'm thinking, it is what it is. I got the challenge done. But yeah, it was that challenge that I did that really, just after I did that challenge, that's when I started doing the videos. Now, my plan and decision was that I was not going to do any videos, no lives or anything on Facebook, because Facebook is just, it's, it doesn't want to play well. And that's what I've seen, other demonstrators deal with. But, so I just decided, okay, I was going to do YouTube, and the problem was I couldn't do any YouTube videos. Well, I can create them and I can upload them, but I couldn't do any lives until I had at least 50 subscribers on my channel. So I started off with a lot of pre-recorded stuff. I think, what was it? That was like late September, and then by near the end of January of 24 is when I was able to actually do lives. Okay, so we got our little mouse colored in. So yeah, that kind of, started the whole ball rolling in regards to doing video content on here. And I've learned a lot since then. Okay, so I'm going to take my little mouse here and I'm going to pop him up. But yeah, it's like my thing was, it's like, one of the things and you've seen it happen, that, I get on here and it's like, okay, camera rolls, yeah, my throat gets scratchy for some reason, or you've seen it, I forget words, or I get tongue twisted. And I learned very early on, my videos will never, ever, ever be perfect. They won't be like that, studio quality, with all the effects and everything in it, until I learn it actually. But, like what I've told Yvonne and Andrea and all that, it's like, you do videos, just really have mindset that they're never going to be perfect, and that's fine. I mean, hey, if you flub up a little bit, that just becomes what? It could be a possible blooper video at the end of the year, right? So it is what it is. Like I told them, I'm not going to stress, over, if there were little flubs in it. Because I just learned early on, they're never ever going to be perfect. I mean, I learned a lot when I was pre-recording. The very early ones, I would cut all my pieces up, and in the very beginning, I would film and not realize that after 4 minutes, the video cut out. And so actually, there's the first card. So really, the work was just in the coloring of the mouse. So there's the first card. And then, okay, so the stamp set. This was from, I think at that point it was July through December holiday mini catalog 2022. This was the host set, Caroling Mice. And then the designer series paper. I don't remember what year this was, but this is Tidings of Christmas 6x6. So it had cherry cobbler, evening evergreen, misty moonlight, Sahara sand, soft succulent, and white in it. So that's the paper. So cute little prints in here. Yeah, in most instances, the monthly Christmas card inspiration, especially like earlier in the year, is going to typically be like retired product. And then as we get closer to when that new catalog comes out, then I'll end up throwing in, something that's current, along with, using it, throughout that month as well. Yeah, it's just, I guess, when you know, when I was doing the videos, I learned the first year when I did it not to do so many Halloween ones because, man, I was using a lot of black, orange, purple, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be done with Halloween. So last year it was, you know, a bit less. I didn't, you know, do it the whole entire month of October. I just kind of went later on in the month. But yeah, with Christmas, I mean, you think Christmas and you think, oh, cooler weather. So, yeah. Okay. So this card is going to be a little bit more coloring. This is the another image that is in the stamp set with the three mice. So I had stamped them and this lamp post as well. Again, I stamped it using early espresso ink. And then let's see. So Misty Moonlight, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. And then this is another piece of that designer series paper, 5.25 by 4. And then this image was stamped on basic white. And then I used a rectangle stitched set of dies, the size that would fit, you know, tighter to the image that's in this set. So I don't remember. I know it's not like the biggest one. It could be the third largest in that set of dies. Okay, so I did add, you know, the music note. I added the lamppost. So we're going to color them in. But what I'll do is I'll fold and burnish my card base, and then I'll add my designer series paper onto that, and then we'll set it aside and we'll get the rest of it done. So far the plan is gonna still be that I'll go live on Friday. I just can't guarantee what it's gonna sound like because I'm sure that the fireworks are they're gonna be setting those things off and it's gonna be pretty noisy, but yeah, I still got to work on those projects for that. They should be pretty easy. There's one card that I definitely want to do that when I saw it, I really liked it. So that's why I decided to go with what I'm going to use. So I'm basically using the same colors that I used on that other one. The only thing in addition that I'm going to use is the light and dark Misty Moonlight and the light and dark soft succulent. And then I have the dark lemon lolly that we'll use for our lamppost. All right, so where do I want to begin here? So I'm going to do the dark crumb cake for my mouse. And I'm just going to color it the same way. Gotta really pay attention to where you're coloring here because they're so close together. Little hands. Yeah, let's see. Got his ear. And let's see, we got him over here. I think I have everything colored here. Okay. Then I am going to take my dark cherry cobbler, and I'm going to be careful on pulling this off because, like I said, the cap was stuck on this and the whole thing came apart on me. I had my pliers sitting over, my needle nose pliers sitting over here just in case if that happened. So then that way I wasn't fighting to try to get that tip out of the lid. Okay. Put the scarf. Let's see. What did I do? I did the hat. I have my sample sitting over here on the side. So you can see what I exactly colored. So so yesterday, so Yvonne was here. She left, I think just a little bit before noontime. And after she left, I spent time on, I did add like the list of supplies for the cards that she had made on Saturday. And I also started working on my newsletter. The plan is the newsletter will go out tomorrow, but it may not go out tomorrow until more like in the evening hours. Because tomorrow I am going to have to go into the office. Not looking forward to that. But yeah, I need to know what the new kits are going to be. So I did work out, and it went together pretty quickly as far as what products I'm going to use for my video content coming up in July. So for my Throwback Thursdays, there's going to be like a big nautical type theme. So I know I'm using like Ocean Friends is going to be this Thursday for my Throwback Thursday. And then what else am I got? Friendly Fins, I think, is at the end of the month. Submarine Life, that's another one. Yeah, so I pulled everything out. I added that to the newsletter for the video schedule. So yeah, I'll have the link to the newsletter after I'm done here. Then I'll add it into the description. Okay, so then I want, what is this dark? I want my dark soft succulent, and we're gonna do this one's jacket. Yeah, there's a couple of things that Stampin' Up will have on our weekly, it's like a weekly update that they do. And so, yeah, I gotta wait till tomorrow to know what those two new kits are going to be. And then tomorrow also there are some new online exclusive items that will be available as well. I think, so was it Fancy Borders? I think is what I'm going to be using. That is what I'm using this Friday. One of the, why am I doing that? That's not supposed to be that color. Okay, that's fine. I can cover it up because that's going to be Misty Moonlight. So that's okay. Bring in my dark Misty Moonlight. And I'll just color right over that. Yeah, so there was a particular card that a fellow demonstrator, Don Olszewski, did with that. There's one die that has a series of hearts, and she created a card that looked like a flag, an American flag, just by using that die. So I thought that was really cool. So that's definitely one of the cards that I wanted to do for this Friday, since here in the US it's Independence Day. Okay, that outline. Did I get it all? I think I did. The one thing I've noticed with my Misty Moonlight, I don't know if any of you that have these Stampin' blends, the light and the dark Misty Moonlight seem to be a little bit different as far as what the colors look like. You'll see when I go to fill in with the light on here, but there does seem to be a difference. So this is the dark evening evergreen. No, yeah, evening evergreen. Let me see. Froggy. I'm so confused about a YouTube thing. Here I am, card crazed Froggy. Most other channels I am card crazed. What is up? You know what? I noticed that. I did notice that, Froggy. I mean, I think in the very beginning I had to take a second look, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's Froggy. I mean, at any point did you change the name from Card Crazed to Card Crazed Froggy? Or maybe it's because the name is long, maybe depending on what you're looking at, maybe it's, it's just kind of shortening it. And then again, YouTube's got a mind of its own. Okay, we'll do the top, the brim here of the hat. Okay, so then let's see, let's bring in, okay, so we're going to do, that's the black, Misty Moonlight, Soft Succulent, Evening Evergreen, Cherry Cobbler. Let's do our dark Lemon Lolly, and we'll do our light over here. Okay, and then our basic black dark. I'm going to do some of the parts here on this lantern. And let's see, let me get the light basic black. And I'll do their noses and their mouth. And then my music note. I'm still on the screen, right? Oh, and I'll do up here. Oh, wait, let's finish our lantern. Okay. And then I'll bring in my light crumb cake and I'll fill in all of my mice. Let's not forget his ear. Yeah, pretty sad. This is the first time I've had this stamp set. What? I said it was in the 2022 holiday mini catalog. And this is the first time I put ink to this stamp set. Very sad. You know, it's what happens, these catalogs, it seems like they just went live and then they retire so, like so quickly, and there's a lot of things that don't carry over. And when it comes time, when you find out what does carry over, what doesn't, then it's like, okay, when you find that out, then it's like, okay, what was it that I really wanted before it's like gone for good? And then you order the stuff, and then what? A new catalog has come out, and then you kind of clean up, you put the stamp sets away, and all of my stamp sets are on these little media bookcases, and they're all in alphabetical order. So I have a whole little small Billy bookcase that it's nothing but all my Christmas stamps, and that thing is full. Oh, I want to pull it in, go over his eye after I color him in. Yeah, so then these stamp sets, they kind of get put away and intermingled with all the other ones, and then you kind of totally forget about them because now all these other sets have come out. But I guess that's the one good thing about between doing this Christmas card inspiration and, the Throwback Thursdays, I'm actually pulling them out and using them. Okay, so then I'm going to come in with the light cherry cobbler, and I'll fill these in. Okay. On the sports channel and mod, all the mods have what looks like their email username. Well, I know mine, when I created this channel, When I first did it, basically it was back in October of 2013, when I first uh, became a demonstrator. And I had inspired creations, and it's been like that for the longest amount of time. But then when it came down to starting to do these videos, I had to change it to something else, because if you did a search on inspired creations on YouTube, you would come across a whole excuse me, a whole lot of channels that were either inspired creations or inspired creations by, and their name. But everything that, whenever I go and comment or whatever, everything it goes over as Blue City Stampin' Studio, which is a lot. That's a mouthful. All right, so now let's fill in their coats using the lighter shade. Well, it was interesting, like you see Yvonne's channel, that originally that was actually her husband's um, channel. I mean, he doesn't do videos, but um, so she was like saving videos that she liked, and it was technically like his YouTube page. So then I think we tried to create a new one, and for some reason it wasn't letting us do it. And so we were able to rename it, and then her husband Don, actually, I think he ended up creating another um another profile. And at some point Yvonne will probably do videos too, but she's got to kind of get her space situated. And you don't need to spend like a whole lot of money on equipment, but because she's got like an older cell phone, she does want to get, kind of like an inexpensive camera to do the filming. And you can find some out there fairly inexpensive that'll work really well. So at some point, and I get it, because like in the very beginning, the pre-recorded stuff I was doing, I didn't have the same setup. I had these other like computer desks that now are IKEA desks along that wall, and that's where I was doing it. And one of the hardest things I was having was that I was kind of like leaning over, so it was putting a strain on my back. These tables that I'm actually working at are the ones that they're just like the tabletops that you can get from IKEA, and then the legs for them, and then I got furniture risers underneath it that brings it up. So it's a lot. I find that I stand more when I do when I do my creating, and of course doing the videos, so it's a little bit easier. And I find I also work faster too. Okay, so the coloring is done on that. So there's the cute little mice. I'm going to get my dimensionals. And I'll put these on here. And we don't want it all saggy, so I'm going to put a few extra on here. I'm sure I'm probably going to get a text message later on from Yvonne. What? There was a video? You did a live and you didn't tell me? Because what she does is when she goes to bed, she'll actually lay there in bed with her pods in her ears, and she'll watch videos. She does that when she's here too. When she goes to bed, she'll be in that room, and She'll be watching videos, and I know she's going to chuckle when she ends up watching this because I'm talking about her. Love you, Yvonne. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Wink of Stella again. I'm going to add a little bit. Whoops, I did not clean that off. Hold on. Hold on. It pulled up some of that early espresso ink when I used it before. So hopefully we can kind of blend that out. So there's a little bit of a shadow right there. Not too bad. But yeah, that's what happens. This pulls up some of that early espresso ink. And let's see, can't see his. What else did I put this on? Oh, the paper. Okie dokie. There we go. So you guys got a bonus live. An extra bonus live because Saturday was a bonus live. Okay, so let me bring in the first card. So here is the cute, simple, cute, just the single little mouse. I do like the sketchiness of the outline that they when they designed this. And then here is our group of mice that are singing. And again, there's no greetings in this stamp set, so you can pull in a greeting from any other set that you may have. But and so there are my two projects for this for July's monthly Christmas card inspiration. Let me see. I will have a, well, we're going to see what's going to happen on Thursday because Thursday's going to be is supposed to be pre-recorded too, but we'll see what happens when I go and I hit that button, if whether or not it reverts to actually going live, because I swear I thought, you know, I really swear that I had that thing on unlisted, but evidently here I am, and there you are. So we'll see what happens for my Thursday one, which I definitely have to get that done by Wednesday evening. So, but yeah, so that's what's coming up. And that one, I'm going to be using that Ocean Friends suite. The only thing I did not get in that suite was the embellishments. Those sold out early and then they didn't get them back. So that's going to be this Thursday, and then again this Friday on July 4th. I am planning on going live at 7 p.m. And yeah, hopefully we can get through it without a whole lot of fireworks going on in the background. You know, we did have thunderstorms and all that during Andrea's live, but it was good because I think it had let up when she had left, not much after she finished that. So, so that's all I have for for this video. Um, there'll be another one for the 1st of August, and you know, next thing you know, it'll be December already. The way time is flying. But thank you all of you for joining me. It was different. I wasn't expecting it, but it was a pleasant surprise, so that's okay. So thank you everyone, and if you like the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And again, if you're watching the replay, please subscribe to the channel, and then hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when I go live with anything pre-recorded or when I actually go live. And again, I will have the description and the dimensions and everything for these cards. I'll add that to this video in in a little bit, as soon as I get off of here. And then I will also have a link if you're interested in receiving my monthly newsletter. I typically only send it out near the beginning of the month, and the only time I'll send it again that month is if there's some special promotion or something that's Stampin' Up, kind of lets us know about, last minute type of thing. So, um, with that, that's all I got, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye bye.